TNA, we've always prided ourselves on what we do in the ring, and having a great locker room full of hardworking, good people.
Past or present, who is Kazarian's dream opponent?
I mean, the first name that comes to mind, and this has been discussed, a lot this year, is AJ Styles. I would love to do that dance one more time with him. John Slater is the obvious choice. He's right now, as we speak, proven why he belongs. Jason Hotch, that kid has a lot of rock talent. Zach Wentz. Those three guys, when we're talking about male talent, those three guys, I say in the next 3 to 5 years, we're going to be seeing and hearing a lot from those guys in TNA and just in pro wrestling in general.
Hey everyone, SoCal Val here. Welcome to another edition of Velvet Ropes presented by WrestlingNewsCo. Now, I am so excited to bring you our next guest, and our guest today not only is one of my personal favorites, but Frankie Kazarian is here. He's a former singles and tag team champion in TNA Wrestling. He is a 6-time former TNA X Division champion and, just for good measure, 3-time former TNA World Tag Team Champion, and he is indeed the king of TNA. It is my honor. Frankie, how you doing?
I'm doing very well, thank you, and it's good to talk to you. I mean, my goodness, how long have we known each other? 23, 24 years?
I think it's going on 24. Yeah, for those watching at home, I met you on my first show, which was March, I want to say 30th, 2002, Anaheim, I think it was Golden State Championship Wrestling, and you were on my very, very first show.
Was that the Marketplace, the outdoor one there?
Yep, I was going to say flea market, but Marketplace sounds so much fancier.
Classier. Flea market is a little bit more accurate, though. But
yeah, oh my God, we had like Brian Danielson on those shows. Like, we were a very classy market. Yeah.
Some all-star lineups. No, it's cool. I'm psyched to be here, psyched to talk to you, and very happy for all of your success as well.
Well, thank you, and you as well. I mean, much deserved. But we're here to talk about TNA Wrestling. Obviously, I still watch the product. I am the biggest champion for TNA, and all the fans are loving what's currently going on with TNA. But we're here to talk about Thursday, September 4th, TNA Wrestling presents Impact live from the Minneapolis Armory. And I think it's the first time, actually, that you guys are in Minneapolis. You can get your tickets now at Ticketmaster.com. How excited are you to be on the road for Impact Wrestling and to bring it to the masses?
Yeah, I'm psyched. I love Minnesota. It's a great wrestling town. The history of wrestling dates back to, the AWA from the 70s and 80s, even long before that. This has always been a great wrestling town. To be part of TNA, bringing it here for the first time, especially with what we're doing now, the level of shows that we're doing, the excitement around the brand, and quite honestly, how hot we are. It's cool just to bring that to a new market for us. And I know a lot of fans are very psyched for us that we're here. They've been waiting for us for a long time. And yeah, man, I love being part of this traveling circus known as TNA, being the king of TNA, bringing it to the masses, and really psyched for live Impact this Thursday and then television taping the next day.
Well, Frankie, in your illustrious career, again, I'm so lucky that I've gotten to see you go through, so many ranks of wrestling from, 2002, been a huge fan of yours and a friend of yours. But in your career, you have worked for, literally all of the biggest companies in the world. But I'd like to know, just friend to friend, what is it about TNA, if I can say this, your home promotion, TNA, that keeps you coming back for more? What sets TNA apart from all the others?
The same thing today that did in 2003, 2005, 2010, 2012. It's the locker room. TNA, we've always prided ourselves on what we do in the ring, and having a great locker room full of hardworking, good people, good young men and women going out there all for a common cause, for a common goal. We've always kind of been the little engine that could. And, for better or worse, they're still kind of looked at like that. So, we're all going out there, try to prove that we do belong in the upper echelon of professional wrestling. And, this locker room, I've said it many times, is the best and closest knit locker room I've ever been a part of. And it's just, it's just the faces have changed, but the morale is the same all these years later. So our locker room and the incredibly talented men and women in it have always been a constant in TNA.
Yeah. I love to hear that because, we've always had a very strong locker room, but there's so many amazing names that have been added to TNA. And me as a fan now watching it, it's so exciting to see. And there's an incredible roster on this show in particular. You've got Jeff and Matt Hardy, Nick and Ryan Nemeth, Moose, AJ Francis, Steve Macklin, Eric Young, a TNA OG, one of my favorites, Brian Myers, Eddie Edwards, and more. But I'd love to get your opinion, Frankie, on who maybe you'd like to face off with, whether it's TNA or in any promotion that you haven't faced off with before, past or present. Who is Kazarian's dream opponent?
I mean, the first name that comes to mind, and this has been discussed, a lot this year, is AJ Styles. Wouldn't be anything new. We've wrestled each other literally hundreds of times, but just the amount of respect I have for that guy, and to see what he's done in the last decade at WWE, and has, the guy had a Hall of Fame career when he was in TNA, and what he's done in the last decade there is just unprecedented. So I would love to do that dance one more time with him. A couple guys, if we're talking, dream match scenarios, I don't like that word, but guys that I have not yet had the privilege to get in the ring with, we're talking guys like Randy Orton, guys like Rey Mysterio. Yeah. Hell, I'd love to mix it up with The Miz, my old buddy, The Miz. That's if I were to dip my toe into that water. Here at TNA, I've loved every time I've had the chance to get in there with a young kid, Leon Slater. I have a tremendous amount of respect for him. And all the hard hitting, roughneck, blood, the core guys of TNA, the Eric Youngs, the Steve Macklins, the Eddie Edwards, the Brian Myers, Matt Cardonos. Those guys are really the engine that drives this company. But, at this point, I'm very blessed to have wrestled a lot of people over 27 years. But there's still a few out there that have, we've just kind of been two ships crossing in the night. So I would like to, scratch those guys' names off the list for sure.
I love all of those suggestions. You guys can let us know in the comments if you'd like to see Frankie facing any of those names. My gosh, you and AJ, obviously perfection. You and Randy would be amazing. The Miz, a UPW OG. Yeah. Cena. I'd love to see Kazarian versus Cena. The list goes on and on. But I'm so glad you on Slater. Like, my gosh, I'm so lucky that I've gotten to see him in the UK, and he's now thriving in TNA. He's such a lovely person and great with the fans as well as being a great wrestler. But it kind of goes into my next question. I was going to ask you, in terms of the TNA roster right now, it's a plethora of talent. But who should we have our eye on? Who do you have your eye on as, maybe the next big thing? Because obviously you're a veteran at this point. You've done so many amazing things. But now these young up-and-comers, the whippersnappers, if you will, who do you have your eye on as kind of like the next shining star of TNA?
Like I said, Leon Slater is the first that comes to mind. And I was very fortunate to wrestle him the last time we were in the UK 2 years ago. And, be involved in the match that got him his contract. We signed him right there in the ring, and I was part of that. It was really cool. So, Leon Slater is the obvious choice. He's right now, as we speak, proving why he belongs, and he's going to be, he is the future of this business. Two other guys, Jason Hotch. That kid has a lot of raw talent, a lot of ability, has a great look, and he's a great attitude. And the same can be said for Zach Wentz. Those guys all, the one thing they have in common is their respect they have for this business, and they're hungry, and they're, very coachable, which is a quality I look for, especially in a young wrestler. So those three guys, when we're talking about male talent, those three guys, I say in the next 3 to 5 years, you're going to be seeing and hearing a lot from those guys in TNA and just in pro wrestling in general.
I love that. And for them, I'm sure they're going to watch us back, and to get your stamp of approval and encouragement will sure mean a lot to them. But, with all due respect to a lot of wrestlers that you and I've met over the years that, they go to WWE or TNA, and they might come from a different business, or maybe they're in football or whatever it may be. You're not somebody who, just kind of, no offense, got lucky and was scouted. You're somebody that, again, I can tell you, having known you for years, that you've been on the grind for, as you said, over 27 years of experience, working the indies, making those towns, as they say, and really grinding and seeing all the unglamorous parts of professional wrestling. And knowing that, I would just like to know, because there's a lot of people that tune into this show that are aspiring young wrestlers. What advice do you have to wrestlers that are trying to get into the business in this day and age? In 2025, it's a very different game than when you started. So what advice would you give to youngsters that are trying to get into this crazy world of pro wrestling entertainment?
I mean, there's so much, but I mean, for me, the important thing to learn is the fundamentals of this business. Why we do what we do, when we do what we do, how it's like the fundamentals is so important. But in terms of getting your name out there, wrestle as many different people as you can for as many different promotions as you can in front of as many different fans as you can. Don't wrestle different styles, wrestle people that take you out of your comfort zone. I always, going back to your point, I kind of always wanted to take like the Chris Jericho method of doing independence, exploring the UK, exploring all of Europe, exploring Japan, Mexico, and just, get a little bit of knowledge, a little bit of information, one more tool for my tool belt in each one of those different territories. And that's essentially what I did. I just come up on the indies and, get the opportunity to go to Japan and get the opportunity to go to Europe and wrestle some of the very best. It made me a very well-rounded competitor. And I would implore any young wrestler to do the same, to, again, get out of your comfort zone, get out of where you are, go somewhere, go on a pilgrimage. I know that's not necessarily something that goes on as much as it used to, but, broaden your horizons. You're just going to be a much more well-rounded wrestler in the end if you do.
Well, they are so lucky to have you. And Frankie, you are a treasure. You're the king of TNA for more than several reasons. I wish you continued success. And everyone that's tuning in, please comment below who you'd like to see next. Step between the velvet ropes. Frankie, thank you for being here. For Wrestling News Co., I'm SoCal Val. Don't forget to follow and subscribe. We'll see you next time.